Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's weekly live immigration attorney chat here at Immigration for Couples. If you are new to our firm, welcome. We're excited to have you here for this week's live event. I am streaming on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram all at the same time. If you have questions, please throw them in the comments and I will go through all of those. I see we have a lot of regulars with us, so it's great to have you all back as well. And yeah, good morning, Ginger. I see you're still with your boyfriend in Tennessee. That's awesome. So Ginger knows the drill. So does Betty. Good morning from Canada. Please let me know, where are you at in the world? I love to start with that. So we have someone here from Pakistan. Welcome. It's great to have you. And you want to know where and Lisa's always somewhere different. And I love to find out, where is Lisa? So you're in bed today. That's a good place to be in the morning, relaxing. Great to have you with us, Baltimore. So Cecilio, you want to know where I am in the world. Currently, Winter Garden, Florida, but I also have an office in Carmel, Indiana, and Orlando. And we are an immigration firm. It's a federal practice. So that means we can represent clients all over the United States, all over the world with the US immigration process. So while we have our headquarters in Indiana and also in Florida, I'm back and forth. And I actually travel all over the country representing clients at their interviews, Texas, New York, Chicago. I'm just a citizen of the world. That's where I happen to be in this moment. But yeah, our firm will help you wherever you are. We have clients in Dubai, Canada, Italy, everywhere. So that is a good question. All righty. And so I just want to make sure everyone here, yep, awesome. Instagram is cooperating. And I want to let all of you know about our free resource center at immigrationforcouples.com. The free resource center was created by my team and by me with so much love, care, and consideration for all of you who are going through the immigration process. We've got a lot of great feedback from individuals about the resource center. And it's a really great place to start, whether you're just in the middle of your immigration journey or just starting out. If you're just starting out, I really encourage you to check out the webinar that I made. In that webinar, I walk through the options that are available to couples, how to prove your relationship, and how to not just survive the immigration process, but how to thrive. And there's a relationship evidence guide, all kinds of really great, helpful information. So I really encourage you to check out our free resource center. And then, of course, you're always welcome to schedule a call with me. I put our phone number at the bottom. You can call the office, or also on the website, you can actually schedule an appointment. And I'd be happy to meet with you one-on-one on a Zoom call or a phone call to talk about your immigration case and give you personalized advice and all of that good stuff. So let's see, who else do we have here? Good morning to you. And so Lisa, you happen to be in Winter Haven. So that's awesome. I love how not everything, but a lot of things in Florida have the winter in front of them. The Winter Park and Winter Garden, Winter Haven. Yay, Jamaica. It's great to have you with us. And I have we actually have two individuals from Jamaica. That's awesome. And then someone else from Toronto. So great to have all of you. You're very welcome. South Africa. We have a lot of clients in South Africa. And good morning, Maria. It's great to see you here again. And I hope you're having a great day too. All right, so let's dive in. And for those of you who have questions, throw them in the comments and I'm happy to answer them in the order that I receive them. Instagram, if you throw your comments there on Instagram, I can answer those as well. That's the only ones that don't come through, but I have two screens, so I'll keep an eye on both places for anyone who has questions. All right, so Musa, you have a question. You are from Pakistan and you have a K-1 visa, and it's taking 6 months at the National Visa Center phase in transit stage, sometimes even more. When will the backlog end? So for the fiance visa process, rather, I always like to do a little bit of education for those of you who might not be doing this process, or maybe you're just starting out. So the fiance visa starts the very first step of the process is a petition where you prove your relationship is real to immigration. And then after that petition is approved by immigration, they will move your case to the National Visa Center. And the National Visa Center's job, their role, is to move your file to the US Embassy or consulate where your interview will occur. And so that's typically going to be the country where you're a citizen or the country where you're living and have lawful residence. So sometimes we have individuals who maybe they're a citizen of, the United Kingdom or Australia, for example, but they happen to have residency in the United Arab Emirates. And so they'd be able to have their interview, for example, in Abu Dhabi. So typically it's going to be where you're a citizen, the country where you're a citizen, or possibly another country, depending on where you're living. So you are talking about your case being that in that transfer phase from the National Visa Center to the consular post. So it always depends on that country where you will have your interview as to how long the wait will be. Sometimes it only takes about 2 to 3 months for you to get a welcome email from the U.S. Embassy or consulate to schedule your interview. So fiancé visas are unique, and that for most countries, you would be scheduling your own interview. You do have to wait for the U.S. Embassy or consulate to say we have availability. And so some countries, like our clients from Lagos, for example, it can take a really long time, to get an interview. And so that's what you're experiencing here. You said you're going through the process through Pakistan. And so your embassy, it's backlogged. When will it end? Hopefully soon. I'm an optimistic person, and we have been seeing immigration take concerted efforts to reduce processing times. They have a lot of work they need to do. They definitely need to work on decreasing those processing times so couples can be together faster. But it does ultimately depend on the country where you are living and where you will have your interview as to how long the wait will be. For those clients we have who are processing through Manila, Philippines, for example, or the embassy in London, usually the interview can be scheduled within a matter of a few months after the petition has been approved. So good luck. I'm hopeful that you will be able to schedule your interview soon, and that you are getting closer. At least you have the petition approved, and best of luck to you. All right. Yay. We have someone from my stomping ground here on Instagram from Indiana. So great to have you with us. And we have someone also who joined from Jamaica. So anyone who is just now joining, welcome. Our free resource center on our website is at the bottom. And please let me know where you're at in the world. All right. So BJ, good morning. You have a random question. That's fine. I like random questions. I have answers. So let's see. Your girlfriend is from Mexico and is applying for her visa. She needs both the DS-160 and the B2, correct? How would it affect the fiancé visa later? Okay. So the DS-160 is a part of the application process. The DS-160 is used for a lot of different application types. It can be used for student visas, tourist visas, fiancé visas, but it's just a part of the application process. B2 is a type of visa. It's not an application. So we've had this question a lot in the past lives. The question is basically, is it okay? We are engaged. My fiance lives in Mexico or wherever. We're engaged. We want to be together. He or she wants to come and visit. Can we apply for a tourist visa? So the reality is that tourist visas, US tourist visas, are difficult to obtain. And tourist visas require that you show immigration that you don't have what's called immigrant intent. So you have to show immigration that you have no intent of coming and living or staying in the US, that you just want to go for a short visit for tourism purposes. So to go to Disney World, for example, and just be here for a few weeks. The issue that makes getting a tourist visa even more difficult and sometimes risky for couples who are engaged or married and getting the tourist visa is that you typically are going to have immigrant intent. So you have this intent to join your lives and to live together in the United States. So if you're applying for a tourist visa and trying to say you don't have immigrant intent, but you're engaged or married, that shows immigrant intent. So it puts you in a position where immigration is very likely to deny that visa. Often I will have individuals who will say that they didn't know that, and that's fair. You know, immigration is what I do for my life's work in the world. But for others, it seems logical. Hey, I'd apply for a tourist visa if I want to come and visit my boyfriend or girlfriend in the U.S. But immigration doesn't see it that way, and so individuals will go to that interview. And it's super important, of course, to always be honest with immigration. Lying will cause you a lot more problems in the future and can delay any future processes that you want to do. And so being honest and saying why you want to go. And when they realize and understand and know that you have this boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, spouse in the United States, they're going to say, nope, we're denying your tourist visa. You need to apply for a fiance or spouse visa. That's the proper path. So a tourist visa is not the proper path. I understand you. I know you put girlfriend. It's, you know, if you're not yet at that stage of wanting to get engaged, unfortunately, U.S. immigration is not always logical, and they don't have an option for you to just come and visit your boyfriend or girlfriend. You think that would be a good idea, so you could come and spend time together and get to know the country and know each other's home. But immigration is very, very rigid and doesn't see things that way. And if you have a relationship, then the fiance visa process is ultimately fiance or spouse visa is ultimately what immigration will tell you that you need to do. If you want to talk about your specific case and more details, I'd be happy, like I said at the beginning, to speak with you in private, one-on-one on a Zoom call, and we can talk. But hopefully that helps give you clarity on that question. Okay. And then Musa, you're asking about having to submit bank-related statements for that next phase of the visa process. It will depend in immigration and lots of areas of law. It always depends. So it will depend on whether or not the petitioner, the U.S. petitioner, makes enough through their job. And then it also depends on where their job is located. Some U.S. citizens might be living abroad and they don't work for a U.S. Company. So then bank statements would be required. Tax returns are one of the ways that a petitioner shows their income. And so it's really going to depend on the petitioner in the case, what their income is, what they make, as to what documents you would ultimately need to take. But tax returns are always something that has to be taken. Some embassies and consulates have a preference. They'd like tax transcripts. Others want tax returns with W-2s. We often send our clients with both because immigration can be quite fickle in what they want. And so in general, yes, tax returns and transcripts are very important. And the other items will really just depend on the petitioner. All right. All righty. Just checking here on Instagram, see if we have any questions. So Clara, and I remember you from last time, your picture as well. So you want to know what is the average wait time from the very first step of the application to receiving the visa for the fiance and spouse visa? So the spouse visa, when outside or inside the United States, that could potentially be a different case type. So and the wait time is going to really depend on the country. So there are some countries where they will meet with me and I will say the fiance visa is definitely, the best option. Sometimes the spouse visa is a better option. So I just wanted to give that disclaimer before I give wait times, because it is important. Well, you want to look at wait times, you want to look at all of the circumstances of your case and that particular embassy. On average, right now for fiance visas, we've seen in the past months that wait time has decreased, which is great. So we're seeing that most of our clients are receiving the actual visa in their hand, the fiance visa, to enter the United States in under 12 months in most cases. And the spouse visa, that's sitting at more like 18 months for that process. We have started to see a little bit of decrease in the wait time for spouse visas, but fiance visas, just all of a sudden the wait time decreased significantly in the past months, hoping that the spouse visa follows suit, but that's more like 18 months. Some countries, though, the spouse visa can be more like 2 years or more. And same with the fiance visa if there's a longer wait. But on average, you're looking at 12 months for the fiance visa to have that in your hand, about 18 months to have the spouse visa in your hand. And then if there is an option for a couple to actually do the process in the United States, That's actually not a spouse visa. Sometimes it is, but that's typically called adjustment of status. Not everyone is eligible for that. It has very strict requirements, and the wait time is going to depend on one, whether or not immigration wants to schedule you for an interview, and two, the state where you live. Because if that file is ultimately transferred for an interview, it will happen in the state where you're living. And I will tell you, when I represent clients who are living in Illinois and their service center is Chicago, it's a much longer wait than my clients who happen to be in Indianapolis, Indiana, or Orlando, Florida, for example. It just is going to depend on where you're at in the state. On average, you're looking at least a year to get through any of the different processes, though. So, phew, that was a lot, a lot of information there. And so, Clara, if you're asking this because you're just starting out in your journey, I really encourage you in the free resource center to check out that free webinar. I go through the different options that are available to couples, how to prove your relationship, and really everything you need to know when you're just starting out on your journey. All right. And as always, I'm happy to speak with you one-on-one in private about your specific case. All right. So we have, let's see, who's my next question? Okay, so Pierre, I'm not sure what your question is. What do you need to prepare for the letter of approval? I'm not sure what you mean by letter of approval. I don't know if you mean letters of support from friends and family. Letters of support from friends and family can be a good piece of evidence to include. You want to make sure that they don't have contradictions in the letters. Sometimes, maybe family members would have details that aren't dates that might not be accurate about meetings and things like that. But if that's what you're asking about, the letters of support really need to be from individuals who are typically you're wanting someone who's a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident who can provide information and details about how they know you as a couple and what they've seen in your relationship. And they need to swear that that's the truth and sign the letter. So I'm not sure if that's what you're asking about or not. Okay, so you're asking about the affidavit of support, income from Social Security, and that his son is giving him some monthly financial support. So immigration for the affidavit of support is going to consider income from your most recent year tax returns. So immigration would look at your 2023 tax return and look at your total income line, and then also look at your household size. So if you have any dependents in your household, and they would determine your household size and how much you need to make based on that. And then they would look at your tax returns. Sometimes individuals have income that's accepted by immigration that isn't taxable. So Social Security disability, for example, that can be a possibility. Or for individuals who are retired and receiving income through their retirement account or pensions and things of that nature, or Social Security as well, that can be, considered. Someone giving someone else money every month for financial support, that cannot be used. It's really going to be super fact specific on your case and the documents that the individual has. And so something that could be possible is, depending on the son, if the son is a lawful permanent resident or U.S. citizen, looking at having a joint sponsor for the case is another thing, a great way to still meet that affidavit of support requirement. So if the petitioner by themselves does not make enough, then you can have a joint sponsor. So someone who's a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident who's willing to sign the contract saying that they would provide financial support if the beneficiary is not able to work or support him or herself. And then another option is using assets. So assets like retirement accounts, equity in a home, things of that nature. All right. Okay. So you want to know why USCIS processing times are increasing, and should I apply for a K-1 visa now or wait some time? So some immigration wait times are increasing and others are significantly decreasing. Immigration wait times are fluid. All of the estimates that I'm giving you are a snapshot in time. That's what things look like today. But a week from now, a month from now, they can change. Immigration wait times, it is like riding a roller coaster. It can go up, they can go down. And just being aware of that when you're embarking on your immigration journey, there are so many things in life and the immigration process that we can't control. And that's okay. That's life. And there are things that we can control. And one of the things you can control is getting your application filed and filing a strong application, one that immigration can approve, that you meet all of the requirements, that you have all of the required evidence, that you're going down the right path, that you have picked the best option, and getting that case filed. So while immigration wait times, for waivers specifically, we're seeing those sadly go up. We've seen the fiance visa wait times go down. We've seen the spouse visa wait times go down a little, kind of holding steady, and getting that application filed and getting yourself in line. That's the only way that clock is going to start ticking in your favor. So waiting is not advisable. If you are in a relationship, you love each other, and you are ready to take that next step, then getting the ball rolling and getting yourself in that line is going to be really, really important. So should you apply for the K-1 visa? Possibly. If I mean, I don't know all of the details of your situation, but as long as you're eligible, and depending on your country, the fiance visa is a great option. If you aren't sure which path you're wanting to take and wanting to learn more, I encourage you to check out that resource center and watch that webinar. That'd be a great place to start. But yes, delaying filing, there really wouldn't be a benefit unless you both are not ready to take that step as a couple. Otherwise, getting started is a good idea, because that's one of the number one things that couples will tell me at the end of their journey is, I wish I would have just gotten started sooner, because there can be this paralysis by analysis. And it's just, you can just get started. That's the big step. And I'm happy, like I've said multiple times, I'm always happy to meet with you in private one-on-one, so we can talk about whether or not that fiance visa is the best option for you. All right. So we have someone from Baltimore, the Caribbean, yay, and South Africa. Awesome. Awesome. Great to have you with us. All right. Okay. I have a lot of individuals here that are, oh, we have someone from Morocco. Awesome. Live from Baltimore. Great. And then BC. Awesome to have you with us. Oh, Maria, I didn't realize that's where you were. That's awesome. All right. I'm sure you've told me that before. I have a very good memory, but maybe I missed that before. Okay. So the next question is Bernard. All right. So you met your wife in December of 2023 and got married in July. Yay. Congratulations. That's exciting. We're all celebrating you. And so, will it look suspicious because it's not long enough? When should I file my green card application? You've lived together since August of 2024. So yes, immigration has a long, long list of red flags in their adjudicator's manual. So the guidebook for individuals who are immigration officers who are making decisions, they have a very long list of red flags. And red flags are things that signal to an immigration officer, hey, wait, pay attention to this. This might not be a real relationship. So that is, not true in your situation, that if you love each other, but immigration has these red flags to determine whether or not they think it's love. And one of them is a relationship of short duration, and then a marriage that follows shortly after. So yes, you have a red flag that immigration is definitely going to be looking at. We have helped many couples here at Immigration for Couples successfully make it through the adjustment of status process, overcome numerous red flags, and still prove to immigration that love is real. It can take a little bit of hoop jumping, and we're experts at hoop jumping, but it is possible to still file your application. Before you would file, though, you definitely would want to speak with an immigration attorney and look at all of your evidence and really review your relationship and your history to determine, it's great that you're living together, but to determine, do you have enough evidence to be able to file this application now and present a strong case? Because you always want to make sure that the very first application you file and that everything is in order, so you can have be very proactive and have a really strong case that immigration can approve. You don't want to be in a position where you file a case, and I know that's exactly why you're asking this question and why you're here today. You don't want to file a case that has red flags and then doesn't meet all of their requirements and doesn't have strong enough evidence because that can catapult you into what they call a fraud investigation. So you definitely don't want to be there. It's already onerous, right? Having to prove your love is real to immigration, and you don't want to be in that pool or on that track of them really looking at things under a microscope even more. So the short answer is yes, it's definitely still possible for you to file now, but you want to tread with caution. You want to proceed with caution rather. And I'd be happy to speak with both of you in private on a Zoom call, and we can talk about your relationship in more detail, your goals, evidence, and all of that. So we can making sure you're eligible. Sometimes individuals think they're eligible for one path and they actually aren't. And so I can definitely go into all of that with you in private if you would like on a Zoom call. But great question. And I really appreciate that you're being very diligent, very meticulous, and very careful before you just start filing. All right. Okay, so you received a 221G white slip at your interview. So, for those of you who don't know, if you go to your fiance or spouse visa interview, the immigration officer will make a decision that day, and sometimes that decision involves a 221G. So, a 221G can be something that's a little more simple or straightforward. Most things in immigration aren't simple, but it could be something like you are missing a background check. In some cases, a 221G can be that you don't meet eligibility requirements. So sometimes, I'm not saying, Yusef, that this is your situation, but to give individuals examples on what this can be, is that if you previously filed for a tourist visa before you applied for a fiance or spouse visa, and if that was denied, if there was information in that application that wasn't entirely accurate, or that immigration thought you were withholding information and committing fraud and misrepresentation, that they could be giving you this 221G because you need a waiver of forgiveness. So the 221G can mean a lot of different things. All right, so we have someone from Virginia. Awesome to have you with us. Okay. So, Clarissa, oh, it's great to have you here with us. I love your photo. So, you want to know, do they always do a second interview at the country consulate after the I-601 has been approved? Sometimes they will, not always. It's really been a mix in my experience, that a lot of times they will just be able to adjudicate without another interview. If they do another interview, it's typically they're wanting an updated medical exam and wanting to have the person turn the passport in person and ask a few questions. But in general, it can really go. It really can go either way. I've had a lot of them recently where once the waiver is approved, then they provide instructions to send the passport and then they can put the visa inside. Yeah, it's really, if the question of why would they schedule an interview, officer discretion or supervisor officer discretion. But usually that interview is a much shorter and a quicker interview. So hopefully that helps answer your question. All right. Okay, so would a felony prevent you from applying for the spouse visa? Yes, it can make you ineligible. If you're the immigrant beneficiary, it it will depend. It'll depend on the crime. There are crimes that are actually, even if they're not felonies, that they can still cause issues for your immigration case. So it depends on what were the charges, what was the result, was it dismissed or was there jail time? It depends. The theme of today is, for immigration questions, is it depends. So yes, it can. And then also for a U.S. citizen petitioner, there is some criminal history that if a U.S. citizen petitioner has in their background, it can actually prevent them from being able to petition for someone to come to the U.S. on a fiance or spouse visa. Aw, good morning. It's great to have you with us. You have your new bundle of joy with you, so you're with us watching and burping your baby. All right. So, and then Coco, it's been a month since you received your approval letter from USCIS for your K-1 visa. How long will it take to get the welcome letter from USCIS? It takes more than a month right now. You can always email them and bump them for that. But usually it's going to take more than a month. They sometimes can take up to 60 days, and it also will depend on that US embassy or consulate where you have your interview. But you can always reach out to the embassy and ask for a status. All right, I can do a few more questions. I just want to check on my folks here on Insta because I know that I saw a few questions. Okay. So, Molly, you are wanting to know when you are filing the petition, if you are a petitioner or a beneficiary and that you're a US citizen and that your husband is Egyptian. So, the person who is filing an application for someone else, be it a person, a US citizen, or a business, they are considered the petitioner. And then the person who is the immigrant who is going to receive the benefit is the beneficiary. So, hopefully that helps answer your question. Okay. Okay, so you received your K-1 visa and have been in the US for 2 months, getting married in Vegas. Yay, congratulations. That's super exciting. Um, Wait. So you received your K-1 visa. You've been in the US for 2 months and you're getting married in Vegas and then going back to Thailand. I'm not sure I follow. If you already have the fiancé visa and you got married, then after that happens, the fiancé visa is a one entry visa. So if you have your fiancé visa and you enter the United States, you have to get married in 90 days and then you have to file to adjust your status to a green card. You can't leave the United States on that fiancé visa because if you do, then you lose you aren't able to re-enter because it's a one-time entry. So you'd lose all the progress that you've made. So definitely speak with an immigration attorney before leaving the country. I'm happy to talk with you one-on-one over Zoom or by phone. Just reach out to our office or you can schedule from the website and we can talk about next steps. But yeah, congratulations on your marriage. That's exciting. Okay. I'm going to see who's the next question. We have some really long ones. Okay, so okay, so your I-130 was approved. However, the immigration officer closed my case administratively because you were in removal proceedings. Now the judge granted dismissal without prejudice. So my question is, I will come back with the USCIS or the judge will deal with the I-485. So if you're in removal proceedings, you cannot complete the adjustment of status process with USCIS because they don't have jurisdiction. The court does. So your court case has to be closed. And then once your court case is closed, then you would take steps to resume processing with USCIS. Sometimes the judge will not dismiss the case. And if that is the circumstances, then a judge would make a decision on that adjustment of status application. All right. And good morning to you as well. So you're in Houston, Texas. Great to have you with us. You're very welcome. I thank you. I will definitely enjoy the warm weather, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. It'll be great to connect. All right, I can do one more, and then I do need to jet. I'm a busy bee today. I have a lot of clients that we need to help today. So my wife and I were married in Colombia 9 months ago. We're moving to France on a long-term visa next month and have attorneys guiding us through the France process to live in France. Okay, that's awesome. I'm glad you have immigration attorneys in France. I'm not sure if that was, I don't know if you have a question or other parts, but oh, I see. You broke the question up. To live in France permanently. Can we begin our spouse visa application in France or do we need to return to Colombia? So it's possible just to do it's possible to do the process in another country as long as, an individual has residency or status in another country. It's still possible to process the case through there. We do that all the time for our clients. Yeah, you would think that being married would be faster. The fiancé visa, they made faster because they knew couples wanted to be able to come together and get married. And the spouse visa used to not be so long. It used to be not that far away from the spouse visa, from the fiancé visa wait times. And then Congress started a K3 visa. So spouses could actually benefit from the faster wait times. And we used to file those all the time. And then wait times kept going up. And then the K3 processing times became really much longer than the spouse visa. So yes, for fiancés and for couples who are married, I agree. It should be much shorter and the same wait time for both. But as I have said many times, immigration is not a logical beast. So it is sad. All right, everybody. These are really yeah, and waiting's harder now that you have your little one. It definitely is. All right. These are really great questions. I will be here next week, next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Please bring these questions, that the ones I didn't get to. And you're welcome, Clarissa. Uh, there's always more questions than time. So great. I will see all of you next. I was just looking. There's a lot of really great questions. I wish I could get to all of them, but I will be here next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Please join me, and I'm happy to answer your questions then. And I will also go through these other questions I wasn't able to get to. And I do make a lot of videos and content for YouTube and Facebook and all of that. And you might just find that I answer one of the questions during one of those videos. But it was great to have all of you with us. Please do check out the free resource center. There's a ton of great resources in there that are free to you. And it's very helpful whether you're just starting out or in the middle of the journey. And as I mentioned, I'm happy to meet with any of you by phone or by Zoom. You're welcome to schedule a private consultation. So I look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care, everyone. Bye.